Hello HipKit friends, it's Antonia here using the main kit from the May 2024 HipKit releases, and here I'm just making a start. I already cut one of my pattern paper down to A4 size, which is the format I very often use to scrapbook recent photos. And this is the second piece of pattern paper. I'm just creating a fold-out journaling spot. To start with, it's a 4x12 format that folds out to an 8x12 format, but this will be trimmed down a little bit and nested onto the background paper. And then I used the remaining 4x12 piece of the ledger paper to go on top because I quite liked how it looked against the main background paper, and I'm going to be layering the photos on top of it, and I quite like how the photos looked on top of the ledger paper. With this layout, I'm using recent photos, but I'm actually documenting old childhood memories of my daughter. I do have a lot to say about it, so I just needed extra space for the journaling, and that's why I created the fold out bit. So the pattern paper I chose for the background, it reminded me of fruit gums or fruit pastels, which is a type of sweets in the UK, and I just thought it kind of tied in quite nicely with childhood. And also I just like how all the different colours allowed me to create a really colourful layout, but also there's a couple of colours on the background which is like there's a pale and like a deeper orange. They tie in the red from the photos quite nicely. So it was the perfect background. So I'm just matting my photos onto pattern papers, which are quite neutral in pattern and in colour. And then I'm going to be using the photo frames from the die cut pack and from the sticker sheet to layer my photos onto. And I'm going to be later on using these as the base for my embellishment clusters. I'm backing the photo frames with vellum. I just like the effect it creates. And it separates the frames from the background paper, so it's easier to see where the background finishes and where the embellishment clusters start. After backing the small square-shaped photo frames with vellum, I add these in between the two photos centrally to the page, and I layer these two one on top of the other, and I'm going to be using this spot later on for the title. So I'm just going through the embellishment pack, identifying pieces that could be suitable for this layout and for my embellishment clusters. And I really like the purple phrase die cut, but I find that it's a bit too big for the photos, so I end up adding it on the inside of the journaling spot, and I'm going to be using it as a bit of a subtitle to introduce my journaling. for the title, I ended up adding the acrylic title piece, which came with the little acrylic flowers, and it's just simply divine. I love it, and I'm so pleased that I was able to use it on one of my DT layouts. And I'm trying to introduce small embellishment pieces to go around the title, just to tie it in with the rest of the page, because I just found that it was just kind of floating in the middle. So watch this space, because later I will find the perfect addition. So while I'm playing around with my embellishment clusters on screen, let me tell you a little bit about our monthly kit club. So as a subscriber, you receive the monthly main kit at a discounted price. You will also receive a 15% discount on all add-on kits purchased, and these ship free along with the main kit. And as a subscriber, you also have free access to our monthly cut file designs. If you do not wish to commit to subscribe, you can still purchase our hip kits and our cut files on a one-off basis. So I'm just scattering lots of the acrylic flowers and butterflies all over the page and around the embellishment clusters. I just love these pieces. They look good enough to eat, and they just tiny pieces, which is perfect for my layout, and you can just kind of add them in corners of the photos, which I did on this layout without it taking anything away from the photos. So they were just perfect. And then I'm going on to the fold out journaling spot. I really like how the embellishment cluster at the bottom right looks, but it just seems to be floating a little bit. So I carefully designed this embellishment cluster to make sense and to look good both when the journaling spot is closed and it's behind the photo, and also when it's opened and it's take center stage, but it's just sort of floating. So I end up adding the little phrase stickers which says the best, just to ground this embellishment cluster. I also added a tiny little love heart sticker to the embellishment cluster when the journaling is open, and I'm carrying this over onto the main page when the journaling is closed, and I'm adding 3 tiny little hearts to the 3 embellishment clusters, and that completes my layout. I hope you found this process video helpful in using just your May 2024 main kit, and thanks for stopping by. Bye now.